And look at how great Americans are when purpose comes to us in a crisis. And two tribes start to fight each other in partisan politics. And that is not what we need. We need a collection right now.
That one of the frustrations in the White House is that the extraordinary steps we've taken over the last few months have not been acknowledged by the mainstream media. They are not ever focused on. And history will look back at some of the things we did right, as well as the things we did wrong. There were mistakes made. Many believe the lockdown was a mistake. I don't believe that, frankly, but I am open to those who do. I'm somebody who believes, as a talk show host, that your view counts, even if we don't particularly agree. I do believe that the reason we got finally on the other side of this thing, and it's still here, still around, but the infections are going down, the hospitalizations are going down. The reason for that good news is we were essentially quarantined or locked away. We weren't interacting with each other in restaurants and bars and sporting events. We weren't going to conventions. We weren't going to meetings. We weren't crowding the subways like we used to, or the buses or the trains. We ought to remember about knowing what we don't know. And this thing was a brand new virus, the likes of which we hadn't seen. And to hear the governor of New York, who made some terrible, terrible decisions, I'm sure he made good ones too, but I don't know that Andrew Cuomo will ever get out from under the horrible legacy of having sent COVID-19 patients into New York's nursing homes, which resulted in the deaths of many, many, many patients and residents of nursing homes. Not sure he'll ever get out from under that. And yesterday he said something that was pretty astute, that trying to know everything about coronavirus was just something above his pay grade. Now, this is a difference between leadership. I want to compare Governor Cuomo, who is a darling of the left and a Democrat stalwart, comes from a very storied Democrat family. Of course, his brother is the anchor on CNN. His late father was the governor of New York. Governor Cuomo, this is one example of leadership. Listen to what he said about what he didn't know.
Who knew the virus left China? Who knew the virus went to Europe? Who knew the virus was already here? January, February, March. Now, who should have known? It's above my pay grade as governor of one state. But what federal agency, what international health organization? I don't know.
Doesn't know because it's above his pay grade. I wonder if President Trump would ever say, this is above my pay grade. I wonder if you'd hear Ron DeSantis say it's above my pay grade, or Brian Kemp, or any of the other Republican governors who really, really got ahead of this thing. Look at the tale of the nursing homes. Look at what Cuomo did with the New York nursing homes versus what DeSantis did with the Florida nursing homes. You know the difference, right? You know, in March, Kemp not only prevented COVID-19 infected patients to go into nursing homes, he got COVID-19 patients out of the nursing homes to try to save the healthy, uninfected nursing home residents. And you want to look at the different numbers between Florida and New York. Incidentally, Florida, more populous state than New York. You do a side-by-side comparison between the states of Florida and New York, it makes your hair curl. Obviously, New York, hugely higher numbers. But let's listen to another leader. Let's listen to a Republican who has a bit of a different leadership style.
People say that's a very distinct possibility. It's standard, and we're going to put out the fires. We're not going to close the country. We're going to put out the fires. There could be, whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country.
The president definitively saying if and when there's a second wave, and many experts think there may be, guess what? We're not shutting the country down again. We're not going to go through this again. Some of them will want to. I'm looking at a story here in the Washington Post. The Democrat mayor there, Muriel Bowser, appointed a group of advisors who told her yesterday kids shouldn't go back to school in the fall until there's a cure for coronavirus or a reliable vaccine. Let's see. Fall, that's September, right? We're almost into June. June, July, August. So in about 3 or 4 months, students in the Washington, D.C. area won't be allowed to go back to school, evidently, until there's a cure for coronavirus. That'll happen, by the way, right about a week after we find a cure for the common cold, and then they're going to get a cure for all forms of influenza. That's all going to happen in the next, I think, 6 weeks, right? Right, Muriel? A cure. Moving the goalposts. Let's keep pushing it down. Let's kick this can down the road. We got to flatten the curve. Okay. We got to see reduced hospitalizations. Okay. We got to make sure our hospital workers aren't overwhelmed. Okay. We got to prepare New York for the Armageddon they're facing. We're going to send in a big Navy ship. Okay. Didn't use it. How about the hospital we'll set up right in the middle of Central Park? Okay. Not able to use it. Wow. Wow. And so this president is going to say, and has said, we're not shutting this country down. In fact, the president pointed out yesterday in his visit to Michigan, which, oh, by the way, he's no longer welcome back in Michigan because he didn't wear a mask in front of the cameras. He did wear a mask, incidentally. There's a picture of him with the mask. If you want to see it, you're not going to see it very often. It's kind of an interesting look. He's got a dark colored mask on with the presidential seal on it. If you go to our YouTube channel right now, look for the Mike Gallagher Show YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Take a look, check it out. There's a picture. TMZ obtained a picture of President Trump with his presidential mask on. But because when he was talking to reporters, he didn't have the mask on, the Attorney General of Michigan threw a temper tantrum and said he's not welcome back in Michigan anymore. The President of the United States. Right. He's not welcome back in Michigan, said the AG. She's a real Lulu, isn't she? That AG and that governor, boy, they're a pair of doozies. What a couple of doozies. Anyway, here's what the president pointed out yesterday about the Democrat governors who think it's good politics, he claims, to keep their states shut down, locked down, cowering in fear for as long as possible.
You have a lot of, unfortunately, in this case, Democrat governors. I think they think it's good politics to keep it closed. But what are they doing? They're hurting themselves. I don't think it is good politics. They're hurting themselves. They're hurting their state. And it's not good. So I think you're going to see pretty much people are going to, I think they're being forced to open, frankly. The people want to get out. You'll break the country if you don't.
You know what we are seeing? We are seeing kind of a revolt. How about the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis saying, you know what? Okay, you're going to let 50 people be in a restaurant, but you're going to limit 10 people to worship? No, sorry. We're going to have to ignore that. That'll be a hard pass for us, said the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis in the very blue state of Minnesota. That's the way this is going to have to go. When you've got tyrannical governors who are flipping their lids over a president who is tested, incidentally, probably hourly. He's surrounded by protection. He's got people around him with masks. He's got people being tested in the White House. You got to be tested to even be in the room with the president. But there's the Michigan leadership behaving like a clown car and complaining and trying to ban the president from coming to Michigan. I don't know, maybe the federal government ought to say, well, you know what, next time you need help, Michigan, with some federal funds, why don't you just figure it out on your own, since you don't want to welcome the commander-in-chief back into your state. We are in some crazyville, but it's a good day. It's Friday. We're headed into the Memorial Day weekend. I have nothing but good news for you. You followed along our progress on our Angel Tree Camp. Holy cow, you did it again.